Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
PD Beats here from Popternative, speaking to Anthony Hill about Grey's Anatomy. Welcome to the show, man. It's good to see you.
Thank you. Good to see you too. Thanks for having me here.
It's pretty crazy. I mean, I feel like Grey's Anatomy is just one of those shows, like, there's no shelf life for the show. It's going to be around forever. We're not going to be able to get rid of it. I mean, does it ever hit you that you're on kind of a show that's going to be timeless in a lot of ways?
Oh my gosh. Yes. It hits me all the time. I'm walking around, like I walk around the set and I see these people that I saw when I was in high school on my TV. And, you know what I mean? And now I'm like there interacting with them and I'm like, this show is just going and going. It's a moving train. I just have to.
No, it is. It's a moving train. When you were like cast as Winston, you kind of joined. I mean, I'm sure it's just a lot of things, a lot of emotions. Everyone grew up watching this show and everything. What was the early kind of, mindsets in terms of getting into the character, getting on set? Like, what was going through your mind with that?
Oh my gosh. First, I was just trying to get my bearings. I was like, let me just find, some sanity in this chaos, because it was during a pandemic.
Yep.
And like the middle of it, like right when it began, and then started just lockdowns were starting and all. It was wild. So there was that to grasp, and then there was the fact that I needed to kind of create a character, to join onto this show with all these beloved characters. So my mindset first was I need to learn some medical terminology.
Of course.
You know what I mean? So I got on YouTube and I was borrowing books from friends, and I was just going through the cardiothoracic world, which is kind of what I was about to join into. So that was the big part in the beginning for me, was just trying to get a grasp in the medical world.
This is a big question. You can go kind of either way with this question, Anthony. I mean, do you think we understand, do you know why, in your opinion, why there's such an appeal for medical dramas? Like, have you noticed, is there something specifically that kind of stands out in regards to that?
That is a great question. I think this could turn into a morbid answer, but I think that the appeal of just our mortality, the fact that we all kind of have the same thing in common. That
I thought it was going to be a lot worse than that. You kind
of
said that.
Hey, all right, go ahead.
No, that's fine. Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, we kind of have that that thing in common. Like, we're all going to go one day, and this is such an interesting story that everybody can relate to. Every medical story is something that could affect you. So maybe that.
What can you tell us about your character? What can you tell us about so far? What we have seen arc journey wise with Winston?
Oh my gosh, yeah. We're finally getting some backstory on the guy.
We're finally getting some, like, who is this guy, right?
You know what I mean? Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of fans are like, oh, well, over the year and a half, 2 years, a lot of, oh, your character's such a nice guy and all this, but we don't really know him. What's going on?
He's too nice.
Yeah,
we know nothing about him. He's too nice.
Exactly. And I'm like, all right, hold up. Like, so we've been talking with the writers and stuff this season, and finally some backstory kicked in, and Winston's little brother shows up, played by Rome Flynn, and he's phenomenal. He's so good.
He's been on the show twice.
Yeah.
I've interviewed him before. Great guy. So good.
Nice. Oh, good deal. Yeah, he's such a good dude. Such a dope guy. But so that is the main thing right now. We're just trying to navigate through. I don't know what has aired when this airs, type of a vibe. But so just navigating through his family history and the issues with his brother is the thing right now, and it's wild.
Is it one of those things? How far in advance do you know about the scripts for that kind of journey with Winston and his brother? Like, did you know in the beginning, at the top of filming, like, what was going to happen? Or is it like episode by episode? Like, I'm curious about that. Because certain shows are different. Like,
yeah, every show is different. That's what I hear. This show in particular, they don't let you know too much too early. They'll tell you right before. But with this particular storyline, we were going to do it at the beginning of the season, season 18. And then Kelly McCreary, my love interest in the show, plays Maggie. She had a pregnancy, so she was pregnant for the first half of the season, ended up having a baby at the beginning of the season. So they wanted her to be a part of this brother world that they were about to create, and she had to go and be on leave for a while. So naturally they had to rewrite, pivot, and we didn't end up seeing my little brother until later in the season. But yeah, it was supposed to. I knew at the beginning of the season that they were going to do it, which is weird. But because of the circumstances, we didn't get to see it play out until the end of the season.
You would think there's kind of like the standard for like all shows and stuff, and like, but I'm telling you, one of the coolest things about doing Popternative is you kind of get all these different stories. Like, I had no idea this was gonna happen until like 2 days before we shot it. And
Yeah.
I'm like, that's crazy to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's insane. And I'm rolling with the punches too. I'm like, wow, all these years I've been watching this show, I see how well all these actors handle these storylines that they literally learned about 2 days before. And they're just on the move, and they're so good at just rolling with the pivots and the flow of storytelling on TV.
Well, especially with, Grey's Anatomy. I mean, I remember, when I was like, we're going back, because again, like the show's been on air for quite some time. Yeah. So like we're going back now. I don't want to date this to make me feel like I'm like, make it seem like I'm super old, but I'll just say like, let's maybe 6-7 seasons ago, like I remember like watching it being like, wow, this is like heavy subject matter. Like I can't even imagine kind of going in and just like I would need like 2 weeks to kind of prepare.
I know. And I thought the same thing before I got here, but then you realize, hey, this is a machine. They know what they're doing. There's a formula to it. You got to jump in. You got to jump in and just do your best. And you're flying by the seat of your pants sometimes. You really are. But you just do your best every week, and you try to match, the level of what the writers are doing, your co-stars are doing, what the directors are bringing. There's so much energy and passion in there, so it makes it more fun. It makes it doable.
I'm actually excited to ask you this question because Grey's Anatomy is one of these shows. Do you find it interesting to be on a show where same characters every episode, so there are some kind of storylines that continue on, but every episode has different cases, different patients, and then, it's wrapped up and everything, and then we don't maybe see them ever again type thing, it gets over with. That I feel like is a super interesting, because we can say this about many shows, right, Anthony? Not just Grey's Anatomy. What's that like for you as an actor? Where there are some kind of storylines that will kind of linger episode to episode, but some it's like one and done. It's like a movie.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Actually, it keeps it interesting for me. It keeps it keeps it fresh. It keeps us like spices it up a little bit. There's never the same thing. It's the same characters in the same setting, like you said, but there's always a different story. That's fun for me. Yeah, and spending years as a co-star actor and a guest star actor. I know what that's like to be that guy who's one and done and coming in, and that's an art form in itself. That's very difficult. Yeah. And, so I have a lot of respect for the guest stars who come in. I know it well, and they handle it so well, so beautifully, and so impressively. And so to see that is cool, and to interact with people is cool, but also to have one storyline, maybe have it carry on for a couple episodes, maybe have it be a one and done thing, but it keeps us on its toe, keeps us on it.
But you understand where I'm coming from, because I feel like there's so much at play there with an episode of Grey's Anatomy, right?
There's so much at play, and that's why the stakes are so high, and that's why the drama is so intense, because this might be the only shot to tell this story, and there's kind of a sense of urgency to get it done.
I never thought about that. The urgency, absolutely. Yeah. It's crazy to see like the glimpse of like the Grey's Anatomy's writer's room, right? To see like what's going on, like what exactly is happening in that writer's room.
I'm wondering the same thing. I'll walk by. They have something called the writers' bungalows, and they're all kind of in there, just like doing their thing. And I'll walk by sometimes and be like, "What are they cooking up in there? What's going on?" Because it's like super mysterious. They keep it close to their chest. Their cards are very, they don't want things leaking out to us or to the public. It's interesting. It's an interesting dynamic with the writers. And I said to the showrunner the other day when we were shooting the finale, I was like, I would love to be a fly on the wall for what y'all do, because it's really interesting to me, but also so it's impressive how quickly they crank out a storyline.
Oh yeah. Do you know there's like undercover Winston?
yeah. I'm disguised as a writer. I've got the typical
you get in there. You know what character is really good? That Winston guy. Maybe
all I do is pitch for my character. Yeah. They would have no idea. They would never suspect it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Anthony Hill's a storyteller. That's what you do.
Yeah.
or a storyteller.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
What excites you about storytelling, Anthony?
Oh gosh, that's a great question. Oh, storytelling has been something that's been around since as far as we know as human beings, right? So I think it's always been important for culture.
Yep.
I think it's been important for just society in general. It gives us a lot of reasons to have hope and to create kind of understanding in what we have around us.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And I think that's always going to be important. And so to be a little puzzle piece in the world of storytelling is huge for me, because it's had such an impact on me. And I think maybe all of us from when we were little all the way through our adult lives. So to tell some stories that might impact people in a positive way is pretty dope. And on this particular show, it's stories that are kind of uncovered, because I didn't know a lot about what we're telling. When it comes to, for example, we did a storyline on episode 2 this season where I actually took over for Kelly because of the maternity leave.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, and I kind of reshot everything with Winston running the helm, but he discovered a black patient that was having kidney issues, and there's literal science that is putting black patients in a situation where they're not getting the help that they need. Yeah. And that's a real life issue, and that's still being dealt with today. And those are the types of stories that I think are important, legitimately important to tell. So it's pretty great to be a part of stuff like that.
It is, no, absolutely. And to kind of add to that as well, I mean, stories that were never told are finally getting told.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, that's my favorite thing about it. Yeah. Because you think about all the stories that are able to be told now, that's the best part about it. I think it's unanimously the best part about it.
It is, it's so great. There's so many stories to be told, and there's so many platforms to tell them on now.
They kind of go hand in hand. That's like, okay, we're on the same page here. This is fantastic. Yeah. They go hand in hand. Like, you could say both those things and they kind of feed into each other, right?
Exactly. It's a beautiful time right now.
It is
probably one of the best times to be a storyteller.
Absolutely. No, 100%. It is so crazy.
Any medium, it's a great time.
It is. Anthony, thank you so much for coming on Popternative. It was so great chatting with you.
Thank you for having me. This has been great, man. Thank you.
Absolutely. It's Grey's Anatomy. They can check that out, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Winston.
That's right. On Thursday nights on ABC, the finale is coming up on, I don't know when this is going to air, but the finale is coming up on this Thursday, which is May 26th.
Yeah, absolutely. And where can people follow you on social media to keep up to date with everything?
Oh, you can follow me on Ant Hill with 3 L's. So,
yeah. Absolutely. This has been Popternative. YouTube.com/Popternative for previous episodes. Till next time, this is Anthony Hill, who plays Winston in Grey's Anatomy on ABC, and PD Beats, signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.